Hi everyone, this is episode number 9. Happy Wednesday. I want to dedicate this video to my job, what I do for a living. I am a caseworker. I work with the 16 and over population here in Dallas County, and it's been such a great experience being able to provide services for this sector of the population. And as you know, I was raised by my grandparents, my maternal grandparents, so it's something that's very close to my heart. I know growing up, we received a lot of help from not only medical but with social workers, so I will forever be grateful for their help. And at a young age, you kind of just don't realize how important these individuals are. And whenever I began to work in the private sector, private companies, there was always something that it's something missing. Like, I knew that I wanted something more. I always been inclined to help someone. So whenever I had a friend that worked at this organization, he reached out to me and he mentioned what he did. We talked a little bit more about the type of services that the organization provided, and he said that they had an opening, so I decided to apply. I got hired and I began to work first helping individuals with health insurance and with the Medicaid for children, and that was very rewarding, and it made me realize how blessed my sisters and I were, because growing up, my mom always had us in her private insurance. So it was pretty easy for us to always go to our doctor visits, to our dentist. But I knew that for other individuals, it was something difficult. Not everybody had that luxury. So now, working in a place where I was able to provide the assistance to complete those applications, especially to someone that didn't speak English, it was really rewarding, and I fell in love with the organization. As soon as I walked into the organization, I felt at home. Like, for once, everybody that I was around me was just like me. Like, they were there with a mission to help and to be of service for someone. So that was really welcoming, and I felt right at home. Then, not only was I able to help with those applications, but now we were being invited to events, to health fairs, and this was a chance for us to be in contact with the community and explain to them the benefits that the organization provides. So it became like a really beautiful experience for me, and every day I wake up and I'm super grateful to go to work, and I'm very excited. And if I at this moment had all the money in the world, I would still do the type of I would still do what I do for free, because I love helping people. After a few years of working in the organization, I of course became familiar with the other departments that the organization had. So there was a department that was for the 60 and over population, and they were looking for someone within the organization that could cross-train and learn the benefits, like the Medicare benefits. And luckily, they selected me, so I was able to learn about Medicaid and Medicare for 65 and older. And now I was able to go to the senior centers. And whenever I first came into a senior center, these are spaces where they can come and spend a few hours. They eat, they interact with other individuals their age. And I was like, wow, I would have loved to have known of these places. And maybe my grandfather would have been, mi abuelo would have been able to participate in something like this. But now that I actually was there and I was able to see it, I was like, this is wonderful. And it was really great to interact with them because they reminded me of my abuelo and my abuelita. And all that experience that I gained with taking care of them, I was able to apply now at work, because I firsthand know that with my grandparents, I had to like slow down and explain everything, and not only that, but listen to them. And this is something that still happens now. Like a lot of the times, it's mostly me listening to the concerns, listening to their needs, and then me kind of brainstorming on how I'm going to approach the situation and provide that help that is needed. So it's a lot of listening, and like I always say, the more you listen, the more you learn. And whenever I began learning about the benefit counseling and began to get familiar with everyone, I realized there was another group that these were the case workers, and they did a little bit of something totally different. But now they were providing minor residential repairs. They were providing incontinence supplies, legal services, transportation services, respite services. And at first, I didn't know what all that meant, but I knew that I wanted to be part of that. It just happened that an opening came up and they offered me a position, and I took it and began to work, and it's been great. Like I mentioned, it's so rewarding to help individuals over the age of 60, because a big part of that group reminds me of my grandma, mi abuelita y mi abuelo. But then the newer ones, the ones that are in the 60s, remind me of my mom and dad. So either or, I am very familiar with that. So I treat them the way that I would like for someone to treat my parents and my abuelita and my abuelo. And I love going to work every day. It's extremely rewarding. The type of help that we provide when it comes down to like the residential repairs, we focus on health and safety. So anything that we can help that is going to, remember that there's individuals that are still living in their own home. They are very independent and they want to continue to live that way. So we provide handrails, grab bars, ramps, things of that nature, things that are going to help them maintain themselves safe in their house. And of course, we provide incontinence supplies, legal services if they need help with the will. If they need transportation services, there's a really great program that we partner up with Lyft here in Dallas County. So imagine being able to assess a client and provide the type of help that we provide. Unfortunately, it's not long going, it's temporary, but it's something that just two qualifications: to be over the age of 60 and live here in the county. And every county in the United States has a area agency on aging. So anywhere in the United States, you have access to this. And like I mentioned, one of the greatest benefits of working in this agency is being able to be invited to community events, health fairs, where you actually get to interact with your community and explain to them and teach them about the wonderful resources that the agency provides. And we have a lot of partners throughout the community. So if there's things that we cannot provide, we know where to direct our clients. And the demand is always going to be greater than what we have. So we depend on the state funding, federal funding, and that's why it's very important for everyone to know and learn about these types of organizations that provide this type of help, because we're all heading that way. And the more we know and the more educated we are about the different resources that will be available to us, the better off we will be whenever that time comes. And a lot of individuals may not need our services, but just because you don't need it doesn't mean that people that you may know, like family members or friends, they might need those services. So it's always great to know about them. And we always say, sometimes whenever we give out a donation, we don't know. We might say, well, I'm just going to give it to a shelter, or I'm going to give it to this place, but know that you can also give it to the Area Agency on Aging, and it's for a great cause. We're changing lives. We're impacting the lives of all the 60 and over here in Dallas County. And I am very proud of the team that I work with. My colleagues are extremely knowledgeable, they are hardworking, and the type of service that they provide is impressive. And I learned so much from everyone. I'm a sponge, always trying to absorb everything as much as I can. I feel that every day I'm learning something new, even though this November is going to be 9 years that I've been with the organization. I continue to grow on a daily basis, and I don't want to stop learning. I feel like there's always more. And like I mentioned, right now we're helping Dallas County, but in my long-term goals, I want to be able to help more seniors, more maybe something more kind of like covering the entire state or covering the entire country. I would love to be able to come up with different ways to reach everyone, and for them to know that they are not alone, because I feel that whenever we get to that time in our life, sometimes I can see how people can feel alone. And a lot of conversations, a lot of the times whenever I meet with my clients, I promise you, it's usually me listening to everything, and I learned so much from that. One thing that I learned, sometimes whenever I come across individuals that are like in their 90s, and I see that they are extremely healthy and positive, I always ask, what's your advice to get to 90 and still be very healthy and positive? And it's always kind of like, don't stop, just keep every day, do something every day, wake up and have a plan, have some sort of like structure, to-do list. And so that's something that I'm learning. You just have to keep active and enjoy life and love life. And I promise you, I go every day, and it doesn't matter. I'm excited to go to work. I'm not gonna say that sometimes it's not overwhelming, because like I mentioned, the demand is high, and it's something that we can't change. Every year we get a new group of people that are turning 60, and since we are a nonprofit, we don't have funds to be promoting it all over TV and whatnot, but we do use social media, and we do get invited to community events, and we go and we take our table and take a lot of resources so the community can get familiar with our agency. I want to encourage you, if you know of anyone that can benefit from our organization, please send me a DM, and I can facilitate you with the person that you need to speak with. Like I mentioned, we are a nonprofit, so our services are temporary, they're not ongoing, but anything that we cannot provide, we can always direct you to someone that can. And like I mentioned, everyone there, we are there for a mission. We are there to help. We are there to make a difference in everyone's life, and it's just a beautiful place to work at it, and I'm very blessed and grateful to be there. And I always get reminded of my abuelita and my abuelo with my clients, and now with the younger clients, they remind me of my parents. So it's a beautiful opportunity that I have to work in the place that I work at. So remember, if you have any family members, any friends that live in Dallas County that can benefit from the benefits, please send me a DM. I'll facilitate you with the information. And thank you so much for all the support, for all the messages. I truly appreciate every single one. I will see you next week. I hope you have a phenomenal week and a phenomenal weekend, okay? Talk to you soon.